Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
I like a good serial killer documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Oh, yeah. Week 3 of the National Football League, 15 minutes away. East Rutherford, New Jersey, the New England Patriots, the New York Football Jets. Week 3 of the NFL, of course, will end with 2 Monday night games, including your Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills, but it kicks off tonight. Jets and Patriots in about 15 minutes. With that, a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are spending part of your Thursday evening with us. We are absolutely loaded. We'll take you up until 10 o'clock tonight. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, my buddy Cecil Short spent 7 years in the National Football League, including 4 right here with the Jaguars, a former wide receiver. We'll talk with Cecil, as we do every week, about the Jags, about this Monday night game coming up in Buffalo. I'll ask Cecil's thoughts on Brian Thomas Jr., on why Christian Kirk is not getting the ball, on his thoughts about Trevor Lawrence's performance, and we'll also do a little whip around the AFC South as well. Cecil, not only a former Jaguar, he's also a former Houston Texan. So we'll talk AFC South, Jaguars, and more with Cecil Shorts. That comes up in less than 15 minutes. In about half an hour or so, we will head to Buffalo. Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network, standing by. We will talk Jaguars and Bills from the Bills' perspective of this matchup coming up on Monday evening. The 2-0 Buffalo Bills hosting the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. Also later on in the program, Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated talking NFL, and Hack and Little Hack make the picks. Yep, top of the 9 o'clock hour. Little Hack, my 5-year-old, will stop by to give his thoughts on the Jaguars, the Gators, and the Seminoles this upcoming weekend. And we're going to start with all 3, and we're going to begin in the college game, because every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, tomorrow night, Hacker After Dark turns into the Friday Night Lights postgame. So this is my last opportunity on the Hacker After Dark show to talk Florida and Florida State. If there's ever a time to circle the wagons, if there's ever a time where it's us versus the world, if there's ever a time to where your backs are against the wall, everybody's counting you out, whatever verbiage you want to use, whatever gets you fired up, whatever gets your juices flowing, Florida and Florida State for both this weekend would apply. From the Seminoles standpoint, you're 0-3. Your season's in the toilet. You're playing a Cal team that's undefeated. The game's in Tallahassee. You're on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock. It's time to ante up, man. Just sheer talent alone, you cannot tell me that Florida State does not have more talent than the Cal Golden Bears, because I don't believe it. Florida State absolutely has more talent than Cal. Now, Florida State had more talent than Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Memphis, and that didn't seem to matter. But at some point, right, at some point, Florida State's going to circle the wagons and win a football game. Granted, I thought that would be last week against Memphis, and obviously it wasn't. But they're not going to go 0-4, right? They can't go 0-4 with 3 of those losses being in Doak S. Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee. A team traveling thousands of miles to play you in the Cal Golden Bears. Florida State's got to win, don't they? I'm going to pick them to win because I just simply cannot imagine a world where Florida State starts 0-4 and 3 of those losses are at Doak Campbell Stadium. And I'm not thinking with my heart, obviously. I'm never going to be confused for a garnet and gold Florida State apologist. I like to consider myself a realist. And I just don't believe that Florida State's going to lose 4 in a row. So I'll pick Florida State to win. Because the law of averages is on my side. At some point, that talent on that roster will prevail in one of these games. Why not Saturday night against Cal? When it comes to Florida, I'm not near as optimistic about the Gators, even though Mississippi State is hot garbage. You could legitimately make the argument of all the SEC teams, Florida might be better than one of them right now. And it's Mississippi State. Mississippi State is awful. They lost by 3 touchdowns to Toledo last week. But Florida is also awful. And Florida is going to be without a lot of guys again, including Eugene Wilson, who's already been ruled out. And we saw the Gator passing game last week, or lack thereof, without Eugene Wilson. For Florida, this is desperation time. You could argue that this game in Starkville on Saturday at high noon, 11 a.m. Central, boy, what a crowd that'll be in Starkville. 11 a.m. local time for Mississippi State and Florida.
Tickets are like $6 if you want to go.
I wouldn't doubt it. And unfortunately, ESPN's going to air this thing. ESPN, I know you're got to deal with the SEC, but ESPN for Florida, Mississippi State? Whew. If Florida's going to win a game in the near future, they might want to think about winning this one. Are they going to beat UCF in 2 weeks? I don't think so. Are they going to beat Kentucky? Are they going to beat Tennessee? Georgia? Texas? Ole Miss? LSU? Florida State? You could legitimately argue that this game in Starkville is the easiest game remaining on the Gator schedule, which is a horrifying thought for Gator fans. But again, you cannot tell me that Florida does not have more talent than Mississippi State, a team that just lost to Toledo by 21, and it wasn't really even that close. Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway, Montrell Johnson. Guys, you've looked awful in your games against decent competition. I don't even know if I would refer to Mississippi State as decent competition. They're better than Samford, but that's all I'll really give them. Florida, you got to win the game. If you don't win this game, again, what games are you going to win? And I got to tell you, man, I've seen a lot of reports that the fan base is a lot more eager to fire Billy Napier than the University of Florida brass is right now. That might be true. I think it's an if not win scenario regardless. But if Florida does lose on Saturday to a team that just got boat raced by Toledo, and you have 14 days till your next game against UCF, you have a bye week next weekend, I mean, you pull the plug on Sunday, right? If they lose on Saturday at Mississippi State, you're 1-3. Any chance of a bowl game is basically gone at that point. If you're going to do it anyway, why would you wait? You have 14 days to put Dan Enos or whomever in charge. Having said all that, I'm going to go with Florida in this game because of my Florida State logic. At some point, the law of averages are going to tell you they're going to win one of these games. They're not going to keep losing all of them, right? Again, I feel more confident about Florida State than I do Florida. Florida's on the road. Maybe that's a good thing for the Gators. They've gotten absolutely crushed in 2 home games this year. Maybe you get out of here, go play in front of the Cowbells in Starkville and what probably will not be a full stadium. Again, Mississippi State is awful. Maybe this is a game Florida needs to feel good about themselves going into their bye. I think Florida wins because, again, not because Florida's great, but because I think Mississippi State is that bad. And at some point, Florida, you have to admit they have talent. They might not have a lick of coaching. That's certainly plausible. But they have talent. And maybe I'm just got the Homer goggles on here, but give me Florida State over Cal. Give me Florida over Mississippi State. And that leads me to Monday night, the Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. Again, tomorrow night we got the Friday Night Lights postgame. Monday is the game, so we'll rejoin you on Hacker After Dark on Tuesday. We will do a 5th quarter, however. Dave Campo, Leon Searcy, and myself 2 hours after the Jags and the Bills go final. We will have a 5th quarter early Tuesday morning here on 1010XL for instant reaction. I'm homering up here, man. I like Florida State. I like Florida. Give me the locals on the college gridiron. With that being said, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Monday night. Give me a break. I like the Buffalo Bills. And I like the Buffalo Bills for this very reason. Did you watch the Jacksonville lines of scrimmage last week on the O-line? Did you watch what Cleveland did to them? Horrifying. The passing game was lost. The running game didn't get anything going. The offense is lost. And I just don't think Monday night in Orchard Park, New York, against a Bills team that is quite frankly tired of losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars is the best recipe for the offense to correct its flaws. They can say all the right things, and I applaud them for saying all the right things. Getting back to work, you heard Trevor today at his press conference. We know what we have to do. We know about the task in hand. Doug Peterson said they're looking forward to the opportunity, and that's great, and that's wonderful, and I don't doubt that at all. Jacksonville beat Buffalo under Urban Meyer. Jacksonville beat Buffalo in London. If you want to go back some years, Jacksonville beat Buffalo in that playoff game. The Bills are tired of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They get them in Orchard Park. They get them on Monday Night Football. And they get them when the Jaguar offense is reeling right now. And it looks like Evan Ingram probably won't go. Again, this just does not seem like a successful recipe to remedy the problems of the offense going to Buffalo on a Monday night. So give me the Bills, give me the Seminoles, and give me the Gators. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Who do you like, Buffalo or Jags? Gators or Mississippi State? Florida State or Cal? Your thoughts are welcome always on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Coming up next, let's talk about the Jaguar offensive problems. Let's talk about the Jaguars going to Buffalo, and let's talk about 0-2 and how to dig yourself out of it with a guy that knows all about it. A 7-year NFL career, including 4 of which right here in Jacksonville. Former Jaguar receiver, my buddy Cecil Shorts, is with us every week here on Hacker After Dark, and he joins us next on a Thursday evening. Happy Week 3 to you. Patriots and Jets about to kick things off. We'll keep you updated. Former Jag Cecil Shorts coming up next.
Mondays in the fall are made for talking football.
Let's talk football.
Football! Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Postgame Monday.
Let's talk football.
Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. I'm on the doorstep to 100 pounds of weight loss. 100 pounds. I'm currently right around the 93, 94 pound mark. And that's from February 20th to now. That's in less than 7 months. I've lost almost 100 pounds. And it's all thanks to the best weight loss program I've ever been on, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you need to lose 100 pounds, or say you need to lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever you need to lose, Awaken 180 has a program for you. Go to their website, awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com. Take it from somebody who's on the doorstep of losing 100 pounds on this program. They can change your life. I know this because they've changed mine. You could be next. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This is Nia Lauren Stample, former Florida State National Champion and the proud owner of NLS Cleaning. Just like on the gridiron, we tackle dirt and grime with unmatched precision. Whether it's your commercial property or your residential space, we are ready to take care of your exterior cleaning needs. NLScleaning.net.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 19, 2000, Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. pinch hits his 400th home run, becoming the first Major League player to reach this milestone as a pinch hitter.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Think you can't afford to buy a home? Think again. Lennar offers a range of new homes at affordable prices with a simple and hassle-free buying experience. Every home comes with our Everything's Included package, which means you get premium features and upgrades at no extra cost. For a limited time, enjoy rates as low as 3.99% and no closing costs on select homes when you finance through Lennar Mortgage. Call us at 904-917-2372 to find your dream home today. Lennar, the home for you.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Mad Men Marketing, Jacksonville's original digital ad agency, is now able to get your ads placed on Amazon Prime Video. Their digital experts are some of the few digital marketers approved to insert on Amazon Prime Video. Call their digital consultants at 355-1766 to learn how you can use Amazon Prime Video to grow your business and increase sales. Mad Men Marketing. Interact. Don't interrupt.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bills. Monday Night Football up in Buffalo. Jacksonville 0-2 with two tough road games ahead. At Buffalo, followed by at Houston. They need a win. It's going to be tough, though. They were a big underdog heading to Orchard Park, New York on Monday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Let's talk to a man that played 7 years in the National Football League, including 4 right here in Jacksonville. My buddy Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Cecil, how we doing?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Cecil, we've been better, particularly when it comes to the Jaguars. I mean, look, you and I talked last week in the Miami game. That one stings because of the ETN fumble. Last week against Cleveland, boy, the offense was just awful. I mean, let's call it what it is. For about, 40 minutes of that game till late in the third quarter, they were awful. What did you think when you were watching that?
It was frustrating. Don't understand the slow start. Don't understand all the pressure that was on Trevor Lawrence. With the roster that you have on the offensive side of the football, the personnel that you have, you would think they would want to do more shots down the field with a BTJ who had a big 66-yard game in the second half, with a Gabe Davis, with a Christian Kirk, excuse me. But you cannot do that if you're getting pressure in Trevor Lawrence's face every 2 plays. So it's frustrating to see how explosive this offense can be, but how dismal it is right now in last week's game. It was the run game wasn't bad, but I tell you what, when your defense can hold another offense to 16 points, you need to win that football game. That's just what it is.
There's no doubt about it. And look, you spoke to it, and it's almost deja vu. I remember you and I talking last season about the offensive line, and I gave Balky the benefit of the doubt, Trent Balky, because I thought he had a good offseason. But at the end of the day, they brought in Mitch Morse, but that was it. The other 4 guys were here last year. And let's be honest, the offensive line is not getting the job done 2 weeks into the season.
They're not, and I'm not going to act like Myles Garrett and company is not very good. They were number one defense in the league last year for a reason, right? But still, when you have 4 of the 5 guys that played last year coming back, you would think some continuity is there. You would think some rhythm is there. But they had to figure that out up front, because that's not going to help you win ball games if he continues to get sacked. One thing I did really enjoy was getting him out the pocket. Even on the goal line, when there was a touchdown that was called back to Christian Kirk, you were rolling him out. Maybe you do more rollouts, more sprint outs, to get Trevor not just standing in the pocket and pressure's coming, right? Maybe you go fast tempo to slow that defense line down, right? I think they did that in the second half. They went more fast tempo, had a nice long drive. But you have to find ways to protect your quarterback, protect your asset. You paid him for a reason, but now you got to get people up front that can protect him. Now, it's only 2 games in, so I'm not in panic mode yet, but that is a big thing within the first 2 weeks is protecting your quarterback.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts here with us on Hacker After Dark. Cecil, what world do we live in where Christian Kirk has 1 catch for -1 yards? I mean, that's nonsense, right?
To me, you have to get your playmakers going early, right? You can't wait to the second half. You can't wait. Like, you need to have scripted plays that, hey, these are the 6 plays Christian Kirk are really good at. These are the 6 plays that Gabe Davis is really good at. These are the 6 plays that BTJ is really good at. These are the 6 plays that Strange is really good at, right? Finding ways to get these guys the ball. I'm going to call these plays for these particular guys, no matter what the situation is. It can be 3rd and 13. Throw a screen to Christian Kirk and let him run. Get him going, right? Get him going. He is too explosive. He's too good of a player for him to have negative yards receiving. That's frustrating. That's something they need to figure out ASAP. But that goes for all the receivers. There's no reason that up until that big catch for Brian Thomas Jr., he had 1 target. Like, there's no reason your big guys, your big play guys aren't getting targeted down the field. No, I'll say it again. I get it. The D-backs of the first half, it just wasn't separation, right? I think a lot of the defense of the Browns were doing a really good job. You got Greg Newsome out there. You got Denzel Ward, who's making some plays. But still, you have to find ways to get these guys the ball, get them in space, and let them run.
You know, understanding that you're not in that locker room, but you spent 7 years in the league, you obviously have a much better perspective on this than I do, certainly. Is that play calling? Is that Trevor not looking down the field, maybe not getting off his number 1 or number 2 option? I mean, how can Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr. combine for only 7 targets? Not even catches, Cecil. They were only targeted 7 times combined.
I think it's a little bit of both. So going into the game, obviously, coach wants to get his playmakers the ball, but as the game is going and the quarterback's getting pressure on them, then you got to make adjustments to your play calls, right? And then no matter what the quarterback is, once you start getting pressure, you go from your first read, all right, now you're looking at the line of scrimmage. Now you're scrambling. Now you're worried about what's going on, right? So I think it's a little bit of all what was just said. It's just you have to find ways, no matter what is going on, to be able to adjust and still get your playmakers the ball. Because right now, you're not getting your guys the ball enough. Even Travis Etienne, you're not getting him the ball enough, right? It shouldn't have been a situation where you're having a backup running back, your 3rd-string running back, make a mistake in the red zone in a critical moment. He shouldn't even been in the game. Get your best players in the game. Get them the ball, right? If I'm the Browns defense and I see Travis Etienne coming in that motion, I'm more worried about him than Dearness Johnson. When Dearness Johnson came in motion, nobody even moved with him. The defense was like, whatever, and left him wide open on the backside. And the play still worked, but it's like, hey, put a guy in there you can trust consistently. Put number 1 in the game. Now have him come in motion because he'll do it the correct way. Boom, and now it's a touchdown, and now it's 16-16. But you can't put yourself in that situation of not getting your playmakers the ball. So it is someone play calling, but it is some on that offensive line and Trevor Lawrence as well.
Couple of more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, how would you assess Trevor Lawrence 2 games in?
Just to be honest, he has not lived up to the money you paid him. Do I think it's all his fault? No. But if you give a guy that much money, you can't go 14 of 30 for 220 yards. I mean, you can't take a safety in that critical moment, right? You can't, and it's not. This is tough for me because it's not all on Trevor. It's really not. It's really not all on Trevor. It's a mix of the play calling, the O line right now. But when you pay a guy that much money, you expect him to find ways to win games, right? You look around the league, no matter what happens during the game, your good quarterbacks find ways to win. They find ways to make the play when it's needed. They find ways to hit the third down when it's needed, to run when it's needed, to find the open guy, whatever the case may be. And in these first 2 weeks, he does not have gotten it done. So I expect him to do better. You got a big one Monday night against Buffalo, who's hot right now, but you definitely need Trevor Lawrence to get better, but it's a whole offensive unit, including the play calling, needs to get better.
See, so that's 2 games in a row. The defense played well enough to win. The offense let them down. They're saying all the right things publicly. I was in the locker room earlier. Look, they're saying all the right things, right? At a certain point, if this continues where the defense is playing well and the offense is not living up to their end, that could become a problem, could it not?
Yeah, the defense gets frustrated. When the defense is holding down, again, you had 16 points this week. 16. I'm not counting safety. 16 points. You should win the game. Deshaun didn't look that good to me. We talked about last week, RG. He is who he is. He's not the same Deshaun Watson he was, right? Defensively, Buster Brown, backup corner, he actually looked good in the game, right? The longest pass y'all gave up, the Jaguars gave up, was 30 yards. That was in the fourth quarter of Jerry Jeudy in a corner out in the cover 2. Like, your defense is setting you up for success. It's your job to go down there and get points, period. There's no reason, there's no excuse. The last 2 weeks, you shouldn't have won the football game. And you were in position in both times you were in position to take the lead. And you haven't come through. So this on the offense, it can get very frustrating. Right now, they're saying the right things. They're supportive. But if the offense can't turn around soon, it could get ugly in that locker room. But I'm hopeful that things will turn around shortly.
See, to me, that's the silver lining. For 6 of the 8 quarters this year, the offense has been horrifying. They've been putrid. Yet the Jaguars had opportunities to win both games. If we even get anything resembling an NFL offense, they might be okay. Obviously, it starts in Buffalo. We'll get to that in a moment. Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse returned to Buffalo. They know the personnel up there. It's not often you have not one but 2 starters from a team that you're playing that were there last year. Can they help the Jaguar defense going into this game on Monday night?
Oh, the DC will for sure talk to Mitch about, some of the tendencies of Josh Allen, some of the tendencies of the offensive coordinator, some of the tendencies of James Cook, and some of the, tendencies of the offensive line, whatever the case may be. Maybe even what calls they have that, the offensive line uses, right? They talk about it's this big thing going on, as you know, with Michigan and I forgot his name, Stallions, with the sign stealing and stuff.
Right.
But what's going on with when you have former players, they communicate with their defensive coordinator or their offensive coordinator. Hey, this is what they're going to call in this play. This is what they're looking for. Like, that's just part of the game in that sense, right? So Morris and Davis will definitely be communicating with the defensive coordinator on what they know. And the thing is, Buffalo now, they're not in panic mode, but they will probably change a whole lot of calls because they know who they're playing this week. Right, and they know Morris, who's a starting center. They know Davis, who's a starting receiver, like knows all their stuff. So there'll be a lot of calls they try to switch up, which could be an advantage for Jacksonville. Right, they're trying to switch up things and do things a little different to make it sound or look different, and it could be to the advantage of Jacksonville just having that. So it'll be interesting to see those guys play against them. I know they're excited. It's always fun to have a revenge game. Had a couple of those not played, but they should be able to help for sure.
Jacksonville has had Buffalo's number the last couple of years. Buffalo gets them in Orchard Park on a Monday night. I would imagine the Bills are going to be pretty fired up to see the Jaguars. What advice would you give the young Jags? A lot of young guys on this team have never played on the road during a Monday night football game. What kind of environment are they heading into in Buffalo?
Great environment, a fun environment. I love the stadium, how it's built because the stands are like right behind you, so it feels close. There's nothing fancy about the stadium. It's just beautiful the way it's set up. So I'm excited to see it. I always tell the guy just to be yourself. Don't let the game speed you up. Continue to do what you've been taught. Continue to do what got you here. It's just a game, and once the game gets going, the nerves will get out of there. You can just play ball. But it's going to be a big one. It's going to come down to the offense. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to come down to the offense. The defense has held up their end of the bargain, period. They've held up their end of the bargain. They made all these moves in the offseason, brought different guys in, paid different guys. Those guys are doing quite well. Hines Allen looked great last week. Eric Armstead played well last week. Walker and others, they played well last week, right? The linebacker crew, I mentioned Buster Brown, Darby's making plays. You didn't even have Savage and Campbell. They're still holding teams to 16 points. You see what I'm saying? Like, the defense is holding their end of the bargain. And it's not necessarily an explosive offense from Buffalo, right? They got a different style. I'm not too worried about their receivers with I think it's Shakir and the rookie from Florida State, Coleman.
Coleman and Curtis Samuels there as well.
Curtis Samuels there. He's explosive at times, but James Cook, you got to give a stop the run. James Cook and Josh Allen will be the main focus on defense. And then offensively, you have to score points. Protect your quarterback. Protect your asset, and then you got to score points. Find ways to get your playmakers the ball and score points. It should be an interesting game.
Final moments with former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, as we begin to wrap up, does Tennessee have a Will Levis problem, and does Indianapolis have an Anthony Richardson problem right now?
Yes, absolutely. Both quarterbacks are young. They look very young. They're both very inaccurate. They're both struggling to read coverages. I think Richardson gets away with it a little bit because he's so athletic, right? And his arm strength is ungodly, right? Some of the throws he's able to make off back foot or whatever is just crazy. But he's a lot to learn. Not saying that he can't be good, but he has a lot to learn. But he has something in his favor, which is athleticism. He can run, right? We have Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson in the backfield. You can do some interesting things in the run game. And that coach used to coach Jalen Hurts when he had his breakout year, I think in 2022 with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I trust that situation to get better eventually and maybe sooner than Will Levis. I'm just not seeing Will Levis making smart decisions. He seems like he's going to just turn the ball over every other play. Like, he wants to give the ball to the other team. And some silly mistakes. The arm strength is there. He just needs to mature as a quarterback and not force things and let things come to him, which is not easy to do. So, yes, those two AFC South teams definitely have quarterback issues right now, and we'll see how they ascend or descend as the season goes.
And Cecil, finally, former Jaguar, you're also a former Houston Texan. Houston's 2-0, yet maybe not as dominating as people would have thought, right? 19-13 over Chicago, 29-27 over Indy. 2-0 is 2-0, but do you think the Texans are happy with what's going on so far?
They are happy in a few ways. Last year in close games, it was 2 close games early on last year. They figured out how to lose, right? It was different games last year. As the year went on, they figured out how to win, but they would lose games they shouldn't. In these 2 games, there were games you should have won, and good teams find ways to win. So even though they didn't play their best, they made the throws, they made the catches, they made the stops throughout both games that gave them the opportunity to win that game, right? I think that's the biggest takeaways from what we're seeing. The pass protection needs to shore up. You got to protect number 7. The run game week 1 was awesome. Week 2 was kind of flustered a little bit. So they're not the Houston number 1 is extremely happy they're 2-0, but they're not satisfied is what I'm looking for, right? They're not satisfied. They know they can play better, especially on the offensive side. But defensively, man, they are so physical. They are extremely physical. They're causing turnovers. I think it was 7 sacks last week on Caleb Williams. So they are finding ways to win games, and we'll see if that continues this week versus the Vikings.
We get the Cecil Shorts Bowl next week already when Jacksonville goes to Houston. Will Jacksonville be 0-3 and staring 0-4 in the face? Let's certainly hope not. Former Jaguar, former Texan, also a former Buccaneer. Let's not forget Tampa. My buddy Cecil Shorts. Cecil, always appreciate the time. Thank you, my friend. We'll preview Jacksonville and Houston next week.
Hey, sounds good, RG. Talk to you soon.
There you go. Cecil Shorts with us here every week on Hacker After Dark. And, yeah, the Texans feel pretty good. They're 2-0, no question. Hasn't been a dominating 2-0, but 2-0 is 2-0, and they're 2 games clear of the rest of the AFC South. Again, a combined 0-6 right now for the Jaguars, the Titans, and the Colts. Speaking of 2-0, that's exactly what the Buffalo Bills are. The Jaguars head up there on Monday night. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. We've talked about this game from the Jaguar point of view. What about from the Buffalo point of view? My guy up in Buffalo is Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio, and the sideline reporter on the Bills Radio Network. What is Buffalo thinking about Monday night when the Jaguars roll in? Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo. Next, Hacker After Dark rolls on here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's more than just filling the stat sheet. It's the guy who makes the universal difference.
Free, cuts back and grabs a man for a touchdown.
The Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Hicken here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators. People need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity's super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
Hey, Hicken here. Are you tired of having your carpets professionally cleaned only to have them looking dingy again? Zero Res can help. I'll tell you what, they have the technology. Zero Res uses its patented ZR water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or shampoos. That means zero residue left behind. And guess what? Zero Res falling back in time for September. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129, and we'll clean a 4th room for free. That's right. The 4th room is on me. Zero Res, man. Spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it backwards. It's a right way to clean. Go!
Your school, your colors. There's something special about football under the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Friday Night Lights with Hacker and Andrew Gibson. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home turf? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, Kingfish will sack mosquitoes, tackle rodents, and intercept termites before they can blitz into your home. And right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the 2024 football season. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're injured in a car accident and the insurance company denies your medical bills, denies to pay your lost wages, and won't repair your car, it's time to fight back. Time to call Farah & Farah at 800-500-5555. Jacksonville.
Instant Key. You don't have to go to the dealer. 722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
A customer called DuckDuckRooter saying they had some nasty stuff backing up inside their home. So we went with our camera to look inside their plumbing lines. And sure enough, tree roots in the sewer line. Need to see what's blocking your lines? Call our team to locate the issue and provide solutions to resolve it. 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. DuckDuckRooter, your fully insured and certified plumbing contractor, residential and commercial.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bills, Monday night, 7:30. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio as the Jaguars look to get their first win of the year, a devastating 0-2 start. Boy, the exact opposite for Buffalo. They're feeling pretty good right now at 2-0 on the year. Our man up in Buffalo is Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio. He's also the sideline reporter on the Bills Radio Network. And Sal is kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Sal, how we doing?
Pretty good, buddy. Always good to talk with you.
Hey, Sal, same with you, man. And look, Buffalo, a lot of questions coming into the year. You and I talked this offseason. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse, Jordan Poyer all gone. Yet, man, 2 wins out of the gate. Things must be going pretty well up there for the Bills right now.
Yeah, I think a lot was made about the names that the Bills lost. I don't think a lot was really thought about how much true impact those players had. Now, no disrespect to Mitch Morse. I mean, he was obviously a very good player in Buffalo, and he was a starting center. And, you know, that was a significant loss to the Bills' offensive line. But they had a replacement ready in Connor McGovern. Gabe Davis, of course, has been the true number 2 receiver for a couple of years. Solid player, but they've gone with a model of having kind of a little bit more of a few more of those kinds of guys. I think, though, Poyer, Hyde, Tre'Davious White, Saran Neal, who's in Miami with Poyer, you know, these are players that didn't have significant impacts on this team over the last few years, especially Hyde, Poyer, and White, who've really been dealing with injuries. And overall, the Bills got younger and more athletic, and I think now people are starting to see that a little bit here, Ryan.
You mentioned Mitch Morse and Gabe Davis. How will they be received by the Bills crowd up there on Monday night?
You know, I think Mitch Morse will get a really, really great ovation, and people will love him, what he did for, you know, this community. And Josh Allen, he was always great in the locker room with fans. Yeah, I think Gabe deserves the same kind of reception, but I think Gabe was a polarizing guy here in Buffalo. A lot of fans just thought that he dropped too many passes, didn't quite get to the numbers and level that they thought he, you know, should. I think that's unfair after the 4-touchdown game in Kansas City in the playoffs and the expectations that came with that heading into that year and then his final year of the contract. But, you know, for a 4th-round pick, Gabe Davis played well, and he had put up good numbers. He was a good Buffalo Bill. He was voted the hardest working Bill 2 off seasons in a row. That deserves a lot of praise. But I think there's going to be fans who do react that way, and I think there's going to be fans who give them the opposite kind of reaction because they expected more.
Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Sal, Josh Allen looks like he's off to a great start. 34 points against Arizona, 31 more against Miami. How has the quarterback looked to this point?
Like Josh Allen when he's had to be. You know, he had great Josh Allen plays in week 1. But, Ryan, what I like to say is team didn't have to have him be Superman or put on the cape. He just did because he's Josh Allen. They were still moving the ball in that game. They were shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. They had a touchdown, a run actually by Allen called back earlier in the game. But when the opportunity presented itself, Josh Allen still did what Josh Allen does. Puts the ball in his hands, makes a play, jumps over Budda Baker. Then he had the injury because of that. He hurt his hand. Comes out in week 2, and honestly, the Bills didn't have to have him do much. He didn't have to be Superman. He didn't have to make Josh Allen plays. The Bills ran the ball very effectively. They played great defense against Miami. But I think the biggest thing for Josh is he's throwing for a high completion percentage, and he really has for the last few years anyway, but also no interceptions. He did have the 1 sack and turnover, but, Josh is a gunslinger, and you're going to get the interceptions that go along with the wild plays. That hasn't happened. I think so far through 2 games, Josh Allen has been the perfect blend of Superman Josh Allen with game manager Josh Allen.
And I'll tell you a guy that we're obviously familiar with in these parts is James Cook, the running back from his days at Georgia. He has looked nothing short of sensational. The Dolphins couldn't stop him last week. What has Cook given you guys out of the backfield?
Yeah, James Cook is such a dual threat. He really is. He can hit you from the backfield like he did on that 4th down play that went for 17 yards against Miami. He can hit you running the ball. The Bills, they love to get him in space. He's not the biggest running back. We know that. They're not going to put a pounding on him up the middle and between the tackles play after play, but they're going to give him his shots there, and he's great at making something out of nothing when that happens. He's really a fantastic player who, I think last year had one of the best seasons in the NFL for a running back. He was, I think, 4th in rushing yards, 6th in yards from scrimmage, or vice versa. And I don't think he got enough credit for that. He's always a good high yards per carry guy, and already again this year through 2 games, he's close to 5 yards a carry. James Cook is just the perfect complement of what the Bills want to do overall with their offense.
Sal, we mentioned the departures of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Who are some of the playmakers now at wide receiver that are helping Josh Allen out?
Khalil Shakir has really started off with a terrific season, and it shouldn't be any surprise after really what he did at the end of last year. He was the Bills' most efficient wide receiver, and the Bills really trust him. He catches everything thrown his way. And then you have Curtis Samuel, who really hasn't been on the field as much as people thought. Now, look, he had a toe injury late in training camp, and I wonder if he's still been working through that, because I do expect him to be a much heavier part of the offense than he has. Keon Coleman has only been targeted 3 times, but he was the team's leading receiver in game 1. He only was targeted 1 time last game. They really haven't been going to him much. Mac Hollins, a guy that scored a touchdown week number 1, didn't get much look, in week number 2. And then Marquez Valdez-Scantling is their deep play guy, but he also didn't get much of a look. That group has not actually had a lot of volume, although Khalil Shakir has been the one that's had the most. Really what it's come from is the tight end group, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, the running back group, James Cook, everybody contributing, not just those guys. But if you look across the board, Ryan, the Bills have gone to this model where their mantra is everybody eats, and that's what they've done. They don't have a true number 1. They really kind of don't have a true number 2. They really just have a whole bunch of guys that contribute, and that comes from all different positions.
A couple more for Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo, Jaguars, Bills. Monday night, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL Radio. Sal, on the Buffalo defensive side of the ball, the front 4, Von Miller looks like the Von Miller of old. Ed Oliver is fantastic. We know about Russo as well from his days in Miami. Clearly, that Buffalo front 4 is getting after the opposing quarterbacks.
Yeah, week 1, Greg Rousseau had 3 sacks. He is really blossoming into a really terrific edge rusher. He's already been a terrific edge setter in the run game, and now he's getting after the passer. That's making him a more complete player. The Bills have already exercised his 5th-year option, because if they didn't, he'd be making a whole lot of money after this year. So that's a really nice get for the Bills to have him developing the way he has now in year number 4. And Von Miller, you hit it. He does kind of look like the Von Miller of old. Now he's not on the field 90% of the time, or even 80% of the time. But when he's out on the field, he's effective. He's affecting the passer. He's winning his one-on-one reps. And then you add Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones in the middle. And maybe, just maybe, we see Dewan Smoot against his former team this week. He hasn't played yet. I think the Bills really have a lot of plans for Dewan Smoot. He can play outside. He can play inside. And he can really be a chess piece along the defensive line. We'll see about the toe injury. He hasn't played for 2 weeks, but he might face his former team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, this Monday.
Yeah, I'm a big Dewan Smoot fan from his time here in Jacksonville. Sal, there's not without issues on the defense. They got some injury issues at linebacker. What's the status of some of those linebackers?
Well, we know Matt Milano's out for an extended period of time. I mean, it could be the season. They're hoping it's not. Maybe he comes back in December with the torn bicep. So he's not going to play. Dorian Williams has been filling in, and he's actually been very good against the run. And then Terrell Bernard, who's a fantastic middle linebacker, he actually strained his pec last week. We know he's not going to play against the Jaguars. This could be a 3 to 4 week type of injury, a month injury. So Balen Spector, who was a 6th-round pick from Clemson a couple of years ago, is now the starting middle linebacker in this game. He played really well against the Miami Dolphins when he went in. But I am a bit concerned about the coverage ability of these linebackers. This is not Milano and Bernard. They are very good cover linebackers. Williams and Spector are more Ryan see ball, get ball kind of guys, right? They're going to go after the ball. They're going to make tackles. And I wonder if the Jags are going to look to kind of attack that area with Travis Etienne. I don't know if Ingram's going to play. You could tell me how that status is, but that would be probably how they're going to try to look to attack the Bills. But the Bills are ready for that as well. They'll have something dialed up. And then we don't know the status of Taron Johnson, an all-pro slot corner. But honestly, Ryan, Taron Johnson, as great as he is, the Bills have an excellent backup in Cam Lewis. He's been here 6 years. He knows the system, and they feel very comfortable with Cam playing that role.
The Jaguars have not held up their end of the bargain, coming in at 0-2. Buffalo at 2-0. Any issue up there in Buffalo? They might overlook the Jaguars on Monday night?
I don't know about overlook. I do think there's a lot of confidence exuding from Bills fans. And I even said, I watched the postgame pressers with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, and Doug Peterson was so dejected and deflated, and Trevor Lawrence was upset. And I thought he did a good job of being a leader and calling out what needed to be called out. I'm expecting a spirited game from the Jags. I think their backs are against the wall. I think they're going to have a tough, good week of practice to prepare for this game. They cannot go 0-3. I will say this from the Bills fan side. Bills fans are weary of the Jacksonville Jaguars helmet just coming into Buffalo because it's been such a nightmare for the Bills to play in London against Jacksonville, going down and losing to Urban Meyer that year that they did. In Jacksonville, losing in the playoffs by 10-3 was the final score, right? Now, along the way, there's been a couple of Bills wins, but I think Bills fans have a lot of scar tissue built up because this particular team has matched up well, whoever the coach or the quarterback or anybody else has been.
Final moment, Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio in Buffalo. And Sal, you brought up my last point. It's an interesting one. You tell me, you got boots on the ground up there. You know the Bills Mafia fan base as well as anybody. I would have to think they are ready for the Jaguars because, like you said, London last year, the playoff game a few years back, the Urban Meyer year. This is the first time the Jaguars have come to Orchard Park in quite some time. Not only that, it's a Monday night. Are the Jaguars going to be going into a hornet's nest on Monday?
Well, it's a hornet's nest no matter what, right? It's one of the best environments to play a football game, especially a night game, an early night game with good weather. I mean, we're expecting about low 70s, little chance of rain, but it's going to be really nice out. Perfect football weather in Orchard Park. It's always a hornet's nest for any team to come in here. It's one of the best, like I said, loudest environments in the NFL. Yes, Bills fans are ready for it. Bills Mafia is. They're also apprehensive, though, because I'm telling you, there is a bit of a, oh, my God, this team has the Bills number. Let's not make it happen again here. An 0-2 team against a 2-0 team. Let's not have a trap game.
Interesting. Jaguars-Bills, Monday night. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Sal, for Jaguar fans that want to stay up to date with Buffalo heading into this game, WGR Radio, you're also the sideline reporter on the Bills Radio Network. How can Jaguar fans follow your coverage from the Bills' perspective heading into Monday night?
Yeah, at Sal Sports is all my platforms. We're doing podcasts this week on the YouTube channel at Sal Sports. We got a lot of coverage on the social media side at Sal Sports. You can find it all there. And if you have any questions about what's going on with the Bills, injury updates, things like that, we're going to be on top of it for you all week.
He's our guy in Buffalo when it comes to the Bills, my friend Sal Capaccio. Sal, really appreciate it, brother. We'll talk soon.
You got it, brother. Thanks for having me as always.
Oh, yeah, the injured hamstring.
All it takes to spoil the dream is the tweak of a hamstring.
Boy, this is bad news.
Listen for the Farah and Farah injury update.
On 1010XL, Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at ProJaxRoofingFL.com.
Florida homeowners are going to extreme lengths to stay cool this summer.
We sit in front of the refrigerator with the door open and only eat frozen foods while they're still frozen and put ice cubes down our pants. Whoa, that's cold.
But the most popular and cost-effective way can be summed up by a quack. Just call Duck Duck Air Conditioning. For AC repairs to new installations, you too can beat the Florida heat with Duck Duck Air Conditioning, Jacksonville area's AC experts. Trust the Duck to keep your cooling costs low. DuckDuckAC.com.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roof and Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlion for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock tonight. The Jets, a 7-0 lead over the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers to Allen Lazard. They're knocking on the doorstep right now. In fact, they're reviewing a play that may have scored for the Jets with Breece Hall at the goal line. So potentially it's 13-0. If not, it's going to be 4th and goal from inside the 1. We'll keep you updated. Matt Verderam of SI, less than 10 minutes away. Also, my buddy Brent Beard previewing Week 4 of college football coming up towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. But as we do every Thursday around this time, it's all about Hack and Little Hack make the picks. My 5-year-old Little Hack stops by for his weekly pick segment right here on Hacker After Dark.
Hacker After Dark for Big Hack and Little Hack make the picks. We're here on a Wednesday night edition, but we'll be airing it tomorrow on a Thursday night edition.
Well, you're really taking them behind the scenes, kind of behind the curtain, are you not?
Dylan, good job as always, my man. We'll get together soon.
Okay, well, I guess Denmark, clear your schedule. Little Hack wants to hang out. All right, it is time for Hack and Little Hack make the picks here on Hacker After Dark. Very simple this week. Florida, Florida State, and the Jaguars. Little Hack, we'll begin with Florida State. Now, last week, you nailed Memphis over Florida State. You got that spot on. You picked Memphis, and you were right. Florida State 0-3. They're actually the favorites as they host Cal. The Golden Bears of Cal come in to play Florida State in a big ACC battle. Little Hack, who do you like, Florida State or Cal on Saturday night in Tallahassee?
I think I'll go Florida State.
You think Florida State's going to get their first win of the year?
Yes.
Well, certainly Florida State fans hope you're right. I like Florida State, too. I'm going to pick them every week till they win at this point. I can't believe they're 0-3. I would be dumbfounded if they go 0-4. So give me the Seminoles as well. Florida goes to Mississippi State on Saturday. The Gators, Little Hack, it's just not good right now, but Mississippi State might be even worse than Florida. Who do you like, the Gators or the Bulldogs on Saturday in Starkville?
Dad, I'm going to have to say something to Denmark. Denmark, don't hear what Dad just said, a bad word.
I did not say a bad word. Florida and Mississippi State. Who do you have on Saturday, the Gators or the Bulldogs?
The Gators.
You think Florida's going to get it done over Mississippi State?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he's taking Florida. He's taken Florida State. He likes the local teams. That takes us to Monday Night Football, Little Hack. Jacksonville 0-2, in desperate need of a win. They're a big underdog going to Buffalo, who's 2-0. The game is in Buffalo. They're licking their chops up there for the Jaguars to come in. Who do you like, the Jaguars or the Bills on Monday night in Buffalo?
My dad absolutely loves football, and my mom absolutely hates football.
Yeah, that's actually very true. Nothing really needs to be added there. That is very true. Back to the task at hand. Jacksonville or Buffalo, who do you like on Monday night, Little Hack, the Jaguars or the Bills?
Hurricanes, they sell Buffalo wings, and I think I'll go Jacksonville.
You're going to take Jacksonville even though you like Buffalo wings?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that is analysis that you literally cannot get anywhere else. Little Hack likes Buffalo wings, but he's going to take Jacksonville. So you're going Jacksonville, you're going Florida, and you're going Florida State. The locals are going to love you. Little Hack, you want to add anything as we wrap things up here?
Dylan, good job as always. We'll get together sometime, and we'll do it tomorrow night on a Thursday all over again. To then, good night, Jacksonville. Thank you for spending part of your evening here with us on Hacker After. For all of us here on HD, have a remainder of your evening, and we'll do it all tomorrow on a Thursday night. To then, good night, Jacksonville.
I'll tell you one thing, man. The guy is just a natural on the microphone. He loves it. He is going the locals. He is going Jacksonville. He is going Florida. And he is going Florida State. Denmark, I think you got to clear your calendar, man. Little Hack wants to have fellowship and camaraderie with you at some point in the near future.
Apparently. I got to find time for him.
He's a big fan of Denmark. There is absolutely no question about that. We're a big fan of Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. He's one of my favorites to talk NFL football with. We'll also have Brent Beard previewing a big weekend of college football. That's all coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock tonight on a Thursday night in Northeast Florida. It's Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Matt Verderam of SI coming up next.
It's the play that influenced the outcome.
Handoff, inside, he sees it, now he goes and gets it. Nice play coming downhill.
Listen for the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game on 1010XL. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Don't bet the National Football League this season without your VSiN NFL betting guide. Betting previews for all 32 teams, betting trends, VSiN's exclusive in-depth win total projections, and a guide on how to use betting splits to bet and win. Download your free copy of the guide right now, featuring a betting preview of your Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool? Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 19, 2000, Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. pinch hits his 400th home run, becoming the first Major League player to reach this milestone as a pinch hitter.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems, gun charges, drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
The Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Bills. Monday Night Football, Week 3. The Jaguars are 0-2. The Buffalo Bills are 2-0. And a big favorite as Jacksonville comes in on Monday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio. What has gone wrong with the Jaguars in this 0-2 start? And what about the South? Houston's running away with it early. Will that last? For all that, my buddy Matt Verderam of SI does a great job covering the National Football League, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Matt, it's been a while, man. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Matt, we're good. I'm good. The Jaguars are not good. 0-2. The offense has been just, well, quite frankly, they've been awful for 6 of the 8 quarters this year. Your thoughts on what you've seen from Jacksonville and why they're off to this slow start?
Look, I think there's a few things. I mean, let's start with the obvious one. So, Trevor Lawrence got to play better. I mean, period. Sometimes you look at a game, you look at a team, you go, okay, you know what, the quarterback, he's been left out to dry. They can't protect, or nobody can get open. I mean, they went out and got Brian Thomas Jr. in the first round, and he's been excellent. Like, I don't think you could ask any more out of him. Now, obviously, you could argue, hey, they need more out of Christian Kirk, they need more out of Gabe Davis, although I would argue Gabe Davis is what he is. He's going to have 4 games this year where he's unbelievable. And he's going to have 13 games this year where you barely know he exists, and that's pretty much been his career. But they need Lawrence to play like a $55 million a year quarterback. You need to go out and play better. I mean, 14-30 against Cleveland is a disaster. I don't care that they have a good defense. You're paid like you're the best quarterback in football. And he has not played like it. I mean, and even underlying analytical stats, if you want to look at those, he's been awful. So it's not all on him. But, I think the play calling could be better. I think certainly some of these veteran players on the offense have to step up around them. But it starts with him. When you're paid like that, it starts with you.
There's no doubt about that. He has not been good. I think people here would argue, yes, Trevor hasn't been good, but the offensive line, and we knew it. You and I talked this offseason. The offensive line was a question coming in. They add Mitch Morse. All right, that's great, but you didn't do anything else. Matt, they couldn't block anybody in Miami in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't block Cleveland last week, and I don't know how that's going to change moving forward.
Yeah, and they're going to get a test because in Buffalo, they're not going to be able to hear. And Von Miller looks pretty damn good. And you have Rousseau with 3 sacks in the first game. Look, I don't know that, that's going to be his new normal. I think he's a good player. He's not great. But still, Ed Oliver inside. Look, I mean, you're not wrong. Lawrence has to overcome some of this stuff. But at the same point, it's hard to overcome when you're just under pressure immediately. And with Cleveland and Garrett, like, you understand it a little bit more. Miami, there's no excuse. Miami doesn't have Christian Wilkins anymore. Miami doesn't have Bradley Chubb right now. Jalen Phillips is coming off a torn Achilles. Like, you got to block. And I went back. I watched that game live, and I went back and looked at the stats. I mean, if memory serves me right, Lawrence completed 3 passes in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, You can't win like that. And by the way, to be fair, they would have won the game if ETN doesn't fumble the ball at the goal line. Like, some of this stuff they can clean up. They can clean up some of this stuff. But they're going to need to go out and be more proficient offensively and be more efficient and find ways to create some easy yardage. When they're at their best is when they've got the quick game going and Lawrence can play in rhythm and structure. That hasn't been there by and large the first 2 weeks.
Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. And, Matt, I guess that's the silver lining. The offense has been awful for 6 of the 8 quarters, yet it took a 52-yarder at the gun for Miami to beat them. And then last week against Cleveland, they're on the Browns 33 with a ball into the end zone as time expired. So even though the offense has been putrid, they've had an opportunity to win both of these games if you're looking for a glass-half-full approach to this.
Well, look, I have nothing else to add on that. I would also say this in terms of a reason not to panic. Look around the conference. Baltimore's 0-2, and Baltimore's next 3 games are Dallas, Buffalo, and Cincinnati. The Bengals are 0-2. The Titans and the Colts are both 0-2. Houston's 2-0, but I would also argue that, quite honestly, Houston has not looked great in these games. I mean, I think there's been this overreaction, and I like Houston. I think Houston's very good. Houston has not played great football these first 2 weeks. They barely held on to be the Colts team that, quite frankly, has really disappointed me. And they needed to hold on late to beat the Bears. The Bears couldn't block you and me right now. They can't block anybody. And so, I think if you're Jacksonville, you're still sitting there going, hey, look, got all 6 division games left, still have an opportunity. And hey, look, the Bills game's a tough game. At the same point, Jacksonville beat Buffalo last year, and Lawrence played well in that game. He had a few turnovers, but played well for the most part. Go up there and win the game. I mean, I think that has to – the weird thing in the NFL is you can be sitting here and it's awful and it's doom and gloom, and then all of a sudden you win one game, everything changes. Go look at Atlanta. Atlanta looked deader than hell most of that game in Philadelphia. They win, and now all of a sudden, like, they play Kansas City Sunday night, and you're like, if they lose that game, so what? They're 1-2. They've played 3 tough teams. They'll bounce back. Jacksonville's just got to get a win, get off the deck, and then start to go from there.
Yeah, that's a good point. No question about it. And I want to get to the division in a moment. The defense for Jacksonville has been the bright spot. Look, they gave up the 80-yarder to Tyreek Hill, but you hold Miami to 20 on opening day, you play well enough to win. Last week, Cleveland scored a touchdown on the opening drive. They didn't find the end zone the rest of the game. I mean, clearly the defense has been good, but with that, Matt, the offense has been so bad, you wonder if this continues, will there be any problems in that locker room between the offense and the defense?
Can happen. Look, the one thing I will say, too, and I'm not trying to pump up Jacksonville, I just think it's the truth. Like, water typically finds its level. If you're a baseball fan and you root for a guy who, he hits 300 every year and he starts out in April and he hits 200, that guy's probably going to have a month at some point where he hits like 400. It's just going to happen. Like, it typically, and every once in a while, a guy just hits 250 for the year. But, like, by and large, these teams, they find their equilibrium. It's the same reason I look at Cincinnati right now, and I'm like, look, they're 0-2. They're better than their record. They just are. They just took the Chiefs to the wire. Like, that team's better. It's the same reason I look at a team, on the flip side of that, like Minnesota, I go, look, it's a really nice start. It's fine and all. But, like, Minnesota's not a team that's winning 15 games. I mean, they're just not going to do it. Jacksonville, if the defense keeps playing like this, you have to think at some point, an offense, even with the struggles up front, and they have them, there's no question, but even with those struggles, you have Lawrence, you have ETN, you've got Bigsby's a nice player, you've got Davis, and you've got Kirk, and you've got Brian Thomas Jr., who looks like a star. Like, you got Evan Ingram. That at some point, you would have to imagine they're going to start scoring. And if they don't, you're probably going to have a house cleaning after this year.
A couple more from Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. Matt, as we get to Monday night, it is the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. It'll be interesting with Gabe Davis and Mitch Morse returning to Buffalo. Bills are 2-0. Bills have looked very, very good. Bills clearly the favorite going in. What is your expectation for Monday night?
It's a hard game. I will say this, though, about Buffalo, and this has been true this entire era, if you will, with Josh Allen. They are very week to week. They will have games where, Colin Cowherd of Fox Sports, he always uses this analogy, and I actually think it's a really apt one for them. They're like Mike Tyson in his prime. Tyson would have fights if you're a boxing fan. You ever watch those fights? He comes out of the corner and just roundhouses some poor guy, and 20 seconds in, the guy's face down on the floor, and you're like, all right, it fight's over. But then there'd be other times where he'd come in, he'd be lackadaisical, couldn't put away and lose some decision. And Buffalo can be like that, where, like, if I'm Jacksonville, my entire talking point beyond the obvious, beyond the game plan, if I'm Doug Peterson, I'm telling everybody, and look, we just got to hang in this game early. They're going to come out all charged up. It's, they're 2-0. It's a Monday night. They're at home. We just can't get knocked out of the game in the first quarter. If we can have this thing close at halftime, we can win the game. Because Allen, while he's a great player, he does make mistakes. He will give the Jags 2 or 3 shots in this game to make a big play on defense, whether it's throwing it at somebody or fumbling the ball. Look, I think it's a good game. If you said who's going to win, I mean, Buffalo's at home. They're playing better. I take Buffalo. But at the same point, would I be shocked if Jacksonville goes in there and win? No, I honestly wouldn't. Like, I think Allen, his volatility, there's always an opportunity there. And quite honestly, on Thursday night against Miami, I thought that game was more about Miami than it was Buffalo. I mean, Miami was a train wreck in that game. So, look, you got to stop James Cook. You can't let Allen run all over the place. But I think other than that, I mean, you're not talking about a team that has great weapons throwing football. I think Jacksonville will cover them. But you can't let them get going on the ground and turn it into second and short and third and short. That's when you can get in a lot of trouble.
Matt, as we begin to wrap up, let's quickly look at the division. Does Tennessee have a Will Levis problem?
Yes, a huge one. And Brian Callahan, I think, knows. Look, I sitting there watching the game on Sunday when they're playing the Jets, and obviously he was a disaster against the Bears too. You're up 7-0. It's third and I can't remember if it was a goal, but they were at like the 12-yard line. And he's going down, and it's fine. Like, just take the sack. You're going to kick a field goal. You're going to be up 10-0. Everything's going your way. And he just, like, wails like a backwards shovel pass at Pollard. It's a fumble, and the Jets recover it. Then he backs that up with another pick. I've always said in this day and age, you want to judge a quarterback, put on the film and throw away their best 3 plays of the game. Throw away the crazy highlights and then just watch the rest of the game. Does that guy still have a good game? Or is that guy like 3 unbelievable highlights and then the rest of the game is atrocious? Because if it's that, that's not enough in the NFL. I think, quite honestly, Anthony Richardson's kind of had that this year where you see these unbelievable throws. Then the rest of the game, you're like, he can't complete a pass. Like, you got to be able to do things consistently without making mistakes, and Levis hasn't done it.
Yeah, you brought up Anthony Richardson. That's where I was going next. Now DeForest Buckner is on IR. I mean, the Colts have problems right now, correct?
Yeah, they got a big problem, a couple of them. And I'm somebody, I picked the Colts to make the playoffs. I saw them in camp. I loved what I saw offensively. I thought defensively they'd struggle. But I got to be honest, I thought they'd struggle defensively because they can't cover anybody. And, maybe part of that is they played Malik Willis last week, and so you're not getting a real great picture of it because they did struggle to cover against Houston. They're giving up 250 yards on the ground every game. I mean, they can't stop anybody. Indianapolis is giving up just gobs of rushing yards over and over and over, whether it's Mixon or it's Josh Jacobs. Willis ran a bunch on him. And offensively, listen, I mean, Richardson, that throw to Alec Pierce in week 1 is one of the best throws I've ever seen. The rest of it's been awful. He's got 4 picks. He's completing less than half of his passes. I mean, he's a young kid. I'm not giving up on him or anything, but right now he's playing bad football. And if Richardson's going to play that poorly, they're just not going to compete. They don't have enough around him to lift him up. So, look, right now, I know the Jags are 0-2. I get it. If Jacksonville get themselves right, they can fight for the division. The division is not great.
Final moments, Matt Verderam of SI. Matt, as we wrap up, Kansas City's 2-0 in the AFC. Anybody else that's caught your eye negatively or positively 2 weeks in?
I mean, right now, I think the 3 teams in the AFC are Kansas City, Buffalo, and Houston. And I put them in that order. I mean, the Chiefs against Cincinnati, quite frankly, played atrociously by their standards, and they still beat them. I thought they played well against Baltimore. I covered that game that night for SI. I mean, I thought that game – I actually thought that game, they really dominated much of the game. And to the Ravens' credit, they almost came back. But, yeah, I mean, look, right now, if you're looking at the AFC, it's theirs to lose. They've won it 4 of the last 5 years. They're 2-time defending champions. And they're just one of the – kind of like New England. If you think about those Pats teams with Brady over the years, they always seem the first half of the year to be vulnerable. And then the second half of the year, you're like, yeah, nobody's beating that team. And that's kind of where I am with the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs haven't even played all that well by their standards. They're 2-0. They've beaten Baltimore and Cincinnati. Could they just go 14-3 and be a 1 seed and you got to go beat them in their play? Yeah, probably. So, the biggest thing with them are the injuries. But I think those 3 teams right now are the best. And look, Baltimore is a concern. I think Baltimore is a good football team, but they can't block. And when you're 0-2 and you got to play Dallas, Buffalo, and Cincy the next 3 weeks, you got a problem. I mean, that is a real test. They could easily be sitting there 1-4, 0-5.
Same question in the NFC. Everybody picked the 49ers or the Lions. They have not looked great out of the gate. Anybody in the NFC catch your eye, either positively or negatively?
I still like the Lions. They were my preseason pick. I still think they do it. They went 1-7 in the red zone against Tampa. If that happens every week, they're not going to win. New Orleans has to be the answer, right? I mean, they've been unbelievable. They're averaging 45.5 a game. Kubiak's got them doing all kinds of different things. Using more motion, using more play action. They've been amazing. Now, the question, of course, with New Orleans is at some point here, somebody's going to figure out something to slow them down. And when that happens, do they have the ability to adjust to it, or is it just, well, that's what we can do, and now we're gonna slow down? I mean, we saw Miami do this last year. Miami scored 70 points in Week 3 and looked like the greatest offense of all time. And by the end of the year, you were like, yeah, that's just not that good. So, but New Orleans right now has to be the answer. Negatively, I don't know that it's a surprise necessarily, but Philadelphia, I got to be honest, is Sirianni really going to be the coach of this team by Week 18? He's screaming at the players. He's acting obnoxiously, which is fine. It's what he does, but that works when you're winning all the time. That works when you're a Super Bowl team. That doesn't work when you're losing to the Falcons because on 3rd and 3 against a team that can't stop anybody from running the football, and you have Saquon Barkley, you're like, let's throw that ball. I get he should have caught it. I understand all that. You run the ball. Just run it. If you get the 4th and 1, who cares? You just push it across the line. Game's over. I just wonder in Philly, if that thing starts to go south, does it just go off a cliff south? I'm curious to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, they collapsed at the end of last year, too. Absolutely. Matt Verderam of SI. Matt, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville, man, what you have coming up on SI as we head into Week 3 of the NFL season.
Yeah, I've got my first quarterback rankings. I'll do them every month. They're coming out this week. I've got a patience or panic piece that I do every week. It's kind of a fun read, 3 of each. And then on Sunday, which is my main thing, my main column, it's instant analysis of every game. And it's not just a recap. It's really more like looking at, hey, what matters, what doesn't, what does this mean going forward? So people can read that. They can check it out all at SI, on my Twitter feed, at Matt Verderam. It's all there.
He's one of our favorites, Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. Matt, know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon.
Anytime, Ryan. Take care.
Make Friday feel like the weekend.
We're wasting time.
That's why we give you Pre-Game Friday.
Let's do it. Come on.
We'll get you ready for the games. Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and MyBookie on 1010XL.
Hacker here, and I've got something to celebrate. Honestly, I never thought I'd be able to say this. I'm on the countdown to dropping 100 pounds. Yes, sir. 90 pounds already, thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss, and I'm just 3 weeks away from hitting the big 100. The best part? I'm reaching that 100 mark in months, not years. Life-changing and life-saving. No doubt about it. I had pretty much given up on trying, but now I'm going to be here for my son, my wife, my family, and most importantly, for myself. I'm living my life to the fullest, and I didn't know just how easy it was to make happen with Awaken 180. When I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate big. I'll keep you updated every week as I get closer, and you can even join in on the celebration. Details to come. In the meantime, pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. fast, even if you're in process with another lender. Stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Are your toilets flushing slow? Shower drain starting to back up? Bad smells? These are all major signs that your septic tank needs to be pumped out. Call DuckDuckRooter to schedule today. The EPA recommends you get your septic tank pumped out every 3 years. Call now if it's due. 904-862-6769. DuckDuckRooter is Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor that is fully insured. See our Google reviews. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. 904-862-6769.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Loggeman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Hey, gang, Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Universal Roof and Contracting has been protecting Florida homes from the elements for over 30 years. Call Universal Roof and Contracting today for a free roof inspection and get 15% off your roof repair or replacement. Plus, flexible financing options and payments as low as $115 a month. This offer expires September 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP.
License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Hey, Hicken here. You tired of having your carpets professionally cleaned only to have them looking dingy again? Zero Res can help. I'll tell you what, they have the technology. Zero Res uses its patented ZR water that cleans beautifully without using any soaps, detergents, or shampoos. That means zero residue left behind. And guess what? Zero Res falling back in time for September. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129, and we'll clean a 4th room for free. That's right. The 4th room is on me. Zero Res, man. Spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it backwards. It's a right way to clean.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Boy, Florida and Florida State, a combined 1-5. And amazingly, both are favorites in their games coming up this weekend. What is going on with that? There's some nice SEC games as well this week. Let's talk about all of it with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, it's amazing that we're speeding along here. Nothing goes as fast as football season. We both know that, but you're right. Some interesting games going on this weekend. Even more important games going on next week. And really wish we, except for what, Miami and maybe UCF, it's difficult to find positive things to talk about in this state right now.
You know, I want to begin with something, Brent. You and I have known each other over 2 decades, over the span of, 3 different radio stations. I mean, we go way back. So this is not hyperbole when I say this. I'm not really shocked or stunned very often. And when it comes to college football, certainly, I'm stunned Florida State's 0-3. Stunned. I mean, they were preseason top 10 20 days ago or whatever, 25 days ago, and they're 0-3 right now. I mean, can you remember a more shocking beginning to a year in a negative light for the teams we cover in the area?
No, I really don't. And the opposite side of that is you've got teams like Cal, who Florida State's playing is 3-0 for the first time in 5 years. I mean, FSU 0-3 for the second time since 1976. That really is incredible. And I don't think this is that Mike Norvell has forgotten how to coach. They have had there are 2 things going on here. One, the transfers they got in just have not really lived up to any of the billing we thought they would. And I think that the other thing is, Hank, don't you detect within them, look, attitude, motivation, all that stuff at this point of the year is important. And I'm really the real sad thing is, I know all of them haven't, but there are way too many of these players, maybe even coaches at Florida State, who've already given up on the season.
Well, here's the thing about that, and I was thinking about that. It's funny you mentioned that because, look, back in the day when you commit to a program, you're invested for 4 years, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's your home.
Yes.
The Florida State Seminoles have made a living of renting guys, essentially. I mean, that's what the transfer portal is. 30, 40 guys every season. So if you're one of these new Florida State players that's 0-3, you're probably thinking, well, I'm going to the NFL in 2 months, or I'm going to go somewhere else in 2 months. I mean, they're not probably invested in the program. They just got there in, May, June, July. The season's already over. I mean, where would the motivation be for guys like that?
Yeah, well, and we don't have enough of a history at this point. And now, look, the day's coming, but it's not going to be Florida State, where an 0-3 team is able to rebound and actually go to the playoffs because they got hot at the right time and because the committee rewarded them by playing a difficult schedule. But right now for Florida State, I mean, there's so many things they can't do. I mean, against Memphis, and look, Memphis is a good team, may very well be a playoff team, but Memphis right now is not the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they average 1.5 yards per attempt rushing the ball against Memphis, 37 yards on 24 carries. Look, Hank, when you, and as you said in our years of covering this, football is still the simple game. If you can't run or stop the run, you're not going to win.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. To Florida, That's a bizarre situation in and of itself. I mean, we're already talking about Billy Napier in the past tense, Brent.
Yeah.
After losing to Texas A&M, people were wondering if he was going to get fired last Sunday.
Yeah.
We're talking about who's the next head coach going to be. You know, can DJ Lagway be convinced to stay? There are 9 games left this year. I mean, you got, well-respected publications putting out a candidates list of the guy to replace Billy Napier. Boy, what a bizarre situation in Gainesville heading into a conference road game against Mississippi State.
I would love to be able to say that they are making some progress, but in the 2 games that really have mattered against upper division teams, I mean, they just really have not shown any progress at all. I mean, defensively, they still are. I mean, the reverse of what we said with Florida State. I mean, Florida allows A&M to run for 310 yards, and they gained 3.8 yards per carry against Notre Dame in their opening loss. So, I mean, there really is nothing that they're doing well. I still think DJ Lagway eventually will have a real future, and I still like Graham Mertz. It's just difficult, and you've actually got guys like Jake Slaughter who are doing well, but to your point, I mean, you've got Mississippi State, which is a game they've got to win, and then they've got a break, which everybody needs, frankly. But no, we've really never seen anything like this. I mean, I heard the same thing you did over the weekend, that he may likely be fired, that they've got the money together, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of season left to play, but I can tell you right now, what won't solve their problems, and I'm not saying they're going to do this, but this is some of the rumor, is to bring Urban Meyer in and let him put on his Superman cape and straighten all this out. Number one, that would be a colossal mistake with the damage that Urban would do further to this program. And 2, I mean, look, you're paying Napier at this point. There really is no one else to be the face of the program. I think they may need to come out and say something about they're going to make a change. But right now, I think this is kind of status quo, and they hope for the best. But I think Gator fans, emotionally and otherwise, and tell me if you hear differently, have really moved on with this team, and that's a real shame.
Yeah, it's apathy, and that's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You can survive fan frustration. You can survive fan anger. What you can't survive is apathy. You can't survive people just not caring anymore, and I think a lot of Gator fans don't really care. And again, we're here with Brent Beard, and look, we talk about Florida State not being invested because they're 0-3, and a lot of their guys are from the portal. They're one-year rentals. Well, Florida, I mean, they're hearing all the chatter on social media from their friends and family that Napier is as good as gone. So, I mean, are these players going to listen to this guy? I mean, what's the point in listening to a guy that literally could be fired any day or any week coming up?
Well, and I think if you saw different results on the field, that would help matters immensely. Billy's biggest issue, frankly, is the offense. And look, my understanding is, that, and I've seen these tweet a few times, like you probably have. They're paying basically 2 co-coordinators about $1 million each, and neither one of them call plays. There are just some things in how this is structured, but still, the thing that really has to disturb people is, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, heck, tell me if you've seen anything different than I have. But you still got the same confusion. You still got the lack of communication. You still got linebackers and defensive backs who are their heads down. They're looking at something else, and the opposing players are running right by them. And At some point, how do you not be able to get better with your communication and figure some of that out?
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. It's an interesting weekend locally in the world of college football. Obviously, Florida and Florida State, both fan bases think the sky is falling, yet both are favorites this week, which is odd. Florida a favorite on the road at Mississippi State, a Mississippi State team that lost bad to Toledo last week. Florida State at 0-3 welcomes in an undefeated Cal team, yet the Seminoles are currently the favorite in that football game. So just an odd set of circumstances. We'll see how it plays out. We certainly talked a lot of college ball earlier, and we focused a lot on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Monday night, Buffalo. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. The Jaguars looking to avoid going 0-3 out of the gate. What a 6-day period it'll be for the Jaguars, right? Next Monday at Buffalo, then 6 days later at Houston. Could be really interesting next week here in Jacksonville, depending on how these couple of football games go. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. Always enjoy talking Jags, NFL, AFC South, and more with Matt Verderam, who does a terrific job covering the league for Sports Illustrated. My guy up in Buffalo, Sal Capaccio, WGR Radio and the Bills Radio Network, as we got the Buffalo Bills side of this football game coming up Monday night there in Orchard Park, New York. And back in hour number one, former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. You hear him every week here on Hacker After Dark, and we certainly appreciate Cecil taking time out for us. And how could I forget my guy Little Hack, as once again, Hack and Little Hack make the picks here on Hacker After Dark. So thank you to Little Hack for taking time out of his busy schedule to join his dad here this evening. Now, a couple of house cleaning things. This is the last Hacker After Dark until Tuesday. I will be with you tomorrow night. Of course, on Friday night, Hacker After Dark turns into the Friday Night Lights postgame. We will bring you victorious head coaches all over Northeast Florida under the high school gridiron. So we will talk to a bunch of high school coaches tomorrow night right here on the Friday Night Lights postgame. I will also be with you on Monday/early Tuesday morning on the fifth quarter. Yes, indeed. Leon Searcy, Dave Campo, and myself, we will do a fifth quarter 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Bills go final. So again, Friday Night Lights tomorrow, a fifth quarter after Jacksonville and Buffalo go final on Monday night. But as far as Hacker After Dark goes, we will rejoin you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Also, don't forget the Gator Bites podcast. We'll record that tomorrow morning on the 1010XL Florida Gator Facebook page and at 1010XL.com as we will preview Florida and Mississippi State. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night under the Friday Night Lights. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.